Okay, so I was really excited about making this video because I came upon this article about Jurassic World 3 written by this guy who claims that there are 10 things that Jurassic World Dominion or Jurassic World 3 needs to be a success. And I gotta say, I basically agree with all the points. I'm going to be going through the points in this article and also give my commentary of what I think about this and why I agree with this. A lot of people are diehard fans. Trust me, I am a very staunch fan of the Jurassic Park franchise as well. But I know when a movie is lacking something, and Fallen Kingdom did lack something. There is a reason why it didn't connect with a lot of people, while other Jurassic movies did. Okay, without further ado, let's get into the article. So here are 10 things that Jurassic World 3 needs to be a success, or things that they don't need. The first thing that the article points out is that it's not always about the dinosaurs. I totally agree with this. The article says, and this is an excerpt, if the original Jurassic Park taught us anything, it's that the dinosaurs don't always need to be the main focus. Jurassic World has done an admirable job of sticking to that by introducing solid character arcs for Owen and Claire, but Fallen Kingdom moved too far away from it. We also saw this in The Lost World, and we saw this in Jurassic Park 3, which is why I think those movies worked a bit better. Dinosaurs were dinosaurs, and we got to see some solid characters who were funny, who had insecurities, who had issues, and who were just downright scared being in a situation with these awe-inspiring, majestic beasts that you're not supposed to F with. I do agree that it is a good thing that they are bringing back the old cast because everyone knows them. You bring in these new characters and it's okay and we kind of care about them, but there's no room for growth. When you have a franchise and you have some of the same characters who are faces of that franchise, you can grow along with that franchise. People like stability. They like to see something familiar, and just like with Godzilla, even though Godzilla changes throughout his movies, he is still Godzilla. There's still something to keep everyone tethered to the franchise. It's not like it's Godzilla and then it's just somebody else completely different, like Rodan, but it's a Godzilla 2 movie, and then it's Mothra, and there's no Godzilla in it, and it's always changing so drastically to the point where we can't put our foot on a stable surface. Getting a familiar face would be great. The nostalgia will be a part of that. Of course, they're capitalizing off of that, but I also think that we want to see people growing. We want to see where they got off. We've always had that with the previous Jurassic Park movies. Either it was Ian Malcolm, that was in The Lost World, then we brought back Sam Neill, and it was just beautiful. Then we have Chris Pratt, and he's a new character, which I agree is something they should do, but then they should bring back in the old character so we get some more familiarity and growth. After all, this is a continuing storyline. Your characters don't just cease to exist. The next point is that Dominion needs to focus on the adventure. As the excerpt from the article says, while the prospect of dinosaurs escaping into the heartland of America is an interesting prospect, it could quickly fly off the rails if spectacle takes precedence over the story. The focus of previous Jurassic Park or World films has largely been set on adventure, and this was lost somewhat in Fallen Kingdom as the franchise focused more on corporatism. I totally agree, and that's what we've said in our previous reviews that people obviously didn't like. I mean, it's still open to interpretation because, you know, it's my opinion, but the numbers don't lie. You can't vilify the fans who said that there was something off about that movie when they were swinging the bat for the other movies. At some point, you have to take some retrospect and wonder, what did I do wrong? What worked for the other movies that didn't work for this one? I think J.A. Bayona is a very talented director, however, I don't think his direction was right for Fallen Kingdom. Everything came off a little bit too cheesy. Nobody ever felt like they were in any real danger. It's like the only thing they heard was more dinosaurs, and that was pretty much it. Part of adventure is us feeling like the characters have something real to lose. We didn't feel that in Fallen Kingdom. At least a lot of people I spoke to, including myself, didn't feel that in Fallen Kingdom. The only thing we lost was the Brachiosaurus, and that was more of a symbolism thing because we really didn't follow the Brachiosaurus along with her journey. I mean, I felt more for her when I was writing her character in the POV. We really didn't follow her or see much of her, if at all, from the first movie. So when she died, it's like, oh, that really freaking sucks. I feel so horrible for that, but it's just because she's an animal. It's not because I really feel for her. And then, let's face it, much of us did not know that it was the original Brachiosaurus unless we read about it. Other people I spoke to who are fans, I'm like, do you know what happened with that dinosaur? You know how that dinosaur is? And they're like, Brachiosaurus. I'm like, yeah, but did you know it was the original Brachiosaurus that Alan Grant saw? No, I did not know. Who was going to know that? Unless you follow the making of the film. And a lot of people don't do that because they don't want to get spoilers. I totally agree. There needs to be adventure for this. Really felt that with the original movie. The thing is, every character in the first Jurassic Park movie had an adventure. Nedry had an adventure with the Dilophosaurus. Sam Jackson had his own adventure off screen with the Velociraptor. Lee Sattler had an adventure with the Velociraptors and the T-Rex. Alan Grant had the adventure with the kids, with the Gallimimus and the T-Rex and everything else. Every character in that movie had something going on. They were all experiencing the effects of the park falling down around them and dinosaurs running loose. It felt real. It felt like there were really dinosaurs there. Fallen Kingdom was borderlining a parody of that, and there was too much nostalgia for the film, and they weren't trying enough to be their own movie. The next thing is no more genetics. I think this was pretty clear, and I think they already said that they weren't going to mess with hybrids. I don't think that they should leave out genetic tampering. I think that's a big part of it, because if they're going to make the dinosaurs scary again, they're going to have to do some severe genetic engineering to make the dinosaurs more monstrous, because normal animals aren't going to go around just attacking people for the sake of attacking people. So I kind of disagree, but I do agree that there shouldn't be any more hybrids per se, because that was played out in the last two movies. Now, the next point in this article is going to put your hamburger in a time machine and make it raw again, because it's not going to sit very well with some people. The headline of it is that blue is not necessary. And as much as I love blue and I love velociraptors, I totally agree with this. The author says, while audiences love blue, she doesn't necessarily need to be involved in the third film. Owen's relationship with the velociraptor runs deep, but it's going to get harder and harder to sell audiences on the notion that they always find their way back to each other. I think somehow things got lost in translation in Jurassic World when Owen set Blue free. And it's nice to have Blue back. And I think the only reason that the creators did this, to be honest, is because people love Blue. They're like, yay! And I'm like, how do you take the scariest antagonist of the franchise and make it a pet that nobody respects and nobody's afraid of? But in Fallen Kingdom, when Blue was attacking people, I just thought of her like a little poodle, like, yeah, get her, girl! I don't take her seriously. I think she's a beautiful character, but she's way too docile. I feel like they kind of, when they went on with that and went that route with Fallen Kingdom, they kind of disrespected the symbolism of the Velociraptor. I'm not afraid of Blue when she's angry. And you may say that you're not supposed to be. Yes, I am. Because you know what? I watch a lot of videos and animal videos. I love animals, and I watch videos of people who own hyenas or facilities that rescue them and rehabilitate the hyenas or wolves. And those people, even though they love those wolves, and some of them have been raised from birth, or bears or tigers, you were always freaking afraid of those animals. Even the caretakers will say, you know what? You can't ever let your guard down. As much as you think these animals are tame, you can never let your guard down. The same thing with the chimpanzee who assaulted that woman and killed her. These are wild animals, much less a freaking dinosaur. Now, of course, you could say that they genetically engineered Blue so that she could be a lot more docile, and that's fine and dandy, I understand that. But if you're going to sell Jurassic World or the Jurassic Park franchise with dinosaurs being powerful and scary, we have to get back to either Blue's roots of her being a wild animal at her core, or just kind of cut her out of the story. When Blue's mad, I want to feel like I'm afraid of Blue. I want to share a short story. I used to volunteer for the SPCA. I no longer did that because they killed a dog. Anyways, there were these pit bulls. A lot of pit bulls are at these shelters because a lot of people abandon them or they get into trouble with these dogs. Well, I had one dog out named Freckles. She was a skinny and lanky little thing. We had what looked like a blue blood, brown and white pit bull called Princess, who was locked up. The previous person, apparently, who was carrying the dogs out to the little play area to individually play with them, didn't lock back Princess's door properly. So I'm playing with Freckles, this Dalmatian-colored pit bull, who's the sweetest thing ever. And the other dog, Princess, the bigger one, the actual Staffordshire, beats on her fence. The door was already open or not locked properly. She comes flying out and charges towards Freckles. Now, she's jealous because I'm playing with Freckles. She doesn't attack Freckles. She does the dominant stand thing where she stands over the other pit bull or stands over the other bully. And I went for Princess's collar. She growled at me and looked up at me dead in my eyes as if to say, if you touch me, I will kill you. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to go between two pit bulls and try to separate them. So I took Freckles back since she was being submissive, which was very smart, and put her in her fence, and I let Princess stay out because, you know, she's Princess. Don't want her to kill me. And Princess was all fine. She's like, good, now that Freckles is in her cage, let's go play now. Give me the toy, let's play. And she completely acted like nothing happened. And I was like, what the hell? Poor Freckles had to sit there and watch. For that split moment, even though this pit bull was somebody's pet once, I was scared of her. I love animals. But that dog, the way she looked at me, I was like, holy crap, she will hurt me. And I don't feel anything for that raptor. And now I know that was a real life situation. Even when I watch videos online of people who have wolf dogs or wolves, and when the dogs are giving them that body language, I feel afraid of them. You follow these YouTubers' videos with them caring for these animals, and sometimes those animals, their instincts come through and they challenge these people, and you're like, holy crap, this wolf dog can kill her. Blue is a velociraptor, and I don't feel that way with Blue. Now, who I did feel it with was Delta in Jurassic World. When Delta got out, I was scared shitless. I was like, holy shit, Delta came out and she was targeting that guy. I was scared. I was scared for him, and I was scared for everybody else. I was like, Owen, run, get out of there. That's before I knew the raptors were actually trying to protect him. But Delta could kill them. Delta could kill Owen. She doesn't care. She's like, whatever. Whoever's in my way, depending on what mood I'm in, I am tearing an esophagus straight out of you. Colin Trevorrow did a great job with the suspense with the Delta scene and that military guy right before she bit his hand to pieces. That was the last time I felt fear seeing a velociraptor on screen in the Jurassic Park franchise. So right now, Blue is a symbolism of dinosaurs are harmless and it's really easy to take care of one. Yes, I understand Blue imprints on the first person she sees. Hammond imprinted on the dinosaurs. He was present for their birth for most of them, but then he never saw them again after that. And again, Owen was never directly in the cage with these raptors too. So he's not stupid enough to be like, let me go inside their cage every day and play with them. He stood out of their cage because he knew they were dangerous. What happened between that point and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom? It's like Blue is infused with golden retriever DNA or something. So I'm not asking you to change Blue because it's too late, but I think that we either need to dial back what's going on with her, let her be a wild animal again, or actually, you know, be wild since she's been out there for a while, or introduce some other velociraptors who are actually aggressive as they would be in the wild. Or maybe genetically engineered velociraptors, not necessarily hybrids, but people who breed these dinosaurs for fighting. Because let's face it, a lot of these guys who bought these embryos, you think they're going to be using the dinosaurs to have them as lapdogs? I don't think so. A lot of these guys are Russian dudes, and a lot of these guys are people overseas, very powerful men, and what do? They gamble. What do you think they're going to gamble on? You have these powerful animals that can kill and do a lot of damage that don't necessarily have rights because some people, or at least half of the population of humans, still don't believe that these dinosaurs are even real because they were made in labs. Of course, they're going to capitalize on that and make their own super velociraptors or dinosaurs. And they're probably going to go free at some point, and Blue is going to see them, and then we're going to see her be wild or be killed. Who knows? The guy ends the paragraph by saying, if Fallen Kingdom was any indicator, Blue is free. Maybe she should stay that way, rather than being roped in as a convenient plot device. After all, there are a lot of other dinosaurs out there to focus on. I completely agree. We are wasting so much potential just focusing on this dinosaur who is more so like a pet. Cats are not as tame as this velociraptor is. The next point out there is that there needs to be more T-Rex scenes. I totally agree with this. I think that Rexy has become more of a symbol of Jurassic Park, which is totally fine. I mean, the skeleton of the T-Rex is the logo for the first Jurassic Park movie. But Rexy is old now. So if we're not going to get a scene sending her off, we need to at least see some more T-Rex fighting scenes, or maybe other creatures, other theropod dinosaurs that are just as loved and more powerful than the T-Rex. Maybe we get a scene where we see Rexy snuggle up next to another T-Rex. She sees another T-Rex that obviously wasn't one of the T-Rexes that came from Isla Nublar, and she roars at this T-Rex, but then he's like, it's cool, and Rexy's like, oh, it's cool, and everyone's watching, and for a moment, it looks like they're gonna be okay. And then we get two more Tyrannosaurus Rexes jump from out of the sides and start attacking Rexy and tearing chunks out of her. And the people are screaming because they feel bad for Rexy. Rexy is a symbolism of what they know and love. Actual dinosaurs. She's torn to pieces by these other T-Rexes that are clearly more aggressive engineered dinosaurs, which is what I was talking about in all the other videos and what I just brought up before with the velociraptors. I know that people would get mad and be like, why'd you kill off Rexy? But you know what? Part of makes good films is us losing things that we love so we can feel things. I bet you if that happened, you'd never forget this movie. You'd be angry and upset and you'd throw pitchforks and stuff, but you would remember and respect this movie. And I bet you if any other Jurassic Park franchise movie came out after that, you wouldn't be so safe in your seat. You'd be on the edge of your seat because you know that beloved dinosaurs can die. I'm not talking about the Brachie, who you didn't even really know. I'm talking about established characters. Not to mention, there should always be a situation where main characters, especially if there's more than one, are at risk of dying, like Ian Malcolm was. Maybe one of the main characters should die. Somebody needs to die. I'm surprised that they have all these dinosaur movies and not one of the main characters died. Now, the exception of this, of course, is, I will say, The Lost World. You could say Jurassic Park 3 because the mercenary that filled in, Udesky, you remember that really sweet man who got that raptor claw on his back? Holy crap, as I was searching for him, I just found out that he actually died in 2003. Poor guy. I guess you could see he was one of the main characters as well, but he wasn't a main character. In Jurassic Park 1, basically, you know, a lot of the main characters died. You can say that not the most lovable characters died, but Muldoon was a very loved character, and he died in a just ridiculous way too. But in The Lost World, Eddie Carr was a main character, and he was very loved. And he didn't just die. He sacrificed himself as a hero, and was killed in an awful freaking way. Holy crap, that is one of the scenes that stand out to me. Even while he was faced with death, he was still trying to save his friends. And like a freaking Final Destination scene, his rifle got caught in this damn net and he couldn't even help himself. He could have let go off of the gas, off of the reverse, and he could have pulled the rifle free and try to save himself. But he knew if he did that, the trailer would fall over and Ian Malcolm and his girlfriend and the other guy, they would have died. His screams as he was dying. Holy crap. Dude, I'm saying The Lost World, aside from the original, because it was the original, is one of my favorite dinosaur movies of all and one of my favorite Jurassic Park movies. So yeah, I added that in. That wasn't part of the article, but there should be more human deaths. There should be more loss of characters, more stakes, more fear. People need to feel like these things are real. The author's next points were more Ian Malcolm. He says, everyone loves Ian Malcolm, thanks largely to Jeff Goldblum's own quirky personality and how it plays out in the character. It's obvious that many of his scenes in the original Jurassic Park were ad-libbed, which director Steven Spielberg is fond of, which led to some hilariously natural and entertaining dialogue. And while Ian Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum, was in the scenes, you never really felt like there was no danger. He was talking in a way that I feel like he really would talk if he was in danger. It's just his personality. He wasn't trying to be funny. It didn't seem like he was trying to be funny or his character was trying to be funny. His character is just naturally sarcastic, and that comes off as funny. But when the T-Rex was chasing them in the Jeep, the iconic scene with Rexy chasing them, you still felt like there was danger. The author of the article also says there needs to be more Ellie Sattler. Well, that goes without saying. She is making a reappearance, and even though Samuel and Ian Malcolm had been back, she has not gotten any other follow-up movies since the first Jurassic Park movie. So I think it would be really interesting to see her, also with her dynamic between Alan and Ian. She's still married to that guy. Is she gonna go back to Alan? That would be weird. The next point is no more odd plot twists. Mentioned in the article under this point that on paper, Fallen Kingdom's plot seems like a workable story, but it was executed with far less grace than the script might have originally suggested. As such, the film went from a big-budget summer adventure flick to a spine-tingling horror film within the space of a single act. It was jarring to say the least, and they couldn't even keep with the script or with the theme of horror. I don't really think that was a plot twist. I just think that it was bad direction, in my opinion. There really wasn't any plot twist. I feel like a plot twist is something that really derails people from what the frick is going on. I feel like that's a change in genre or change in tone midway through the movie without there being any real lead up to it. At times there was a little too fast paced, so I think they could work on that and stick with the same theme throughout the movie. I somehow get the feeling that Ripper, the Indoraptor, was kind of shoehorned in near the middle to end of the film, and it's like I don't know. You get it really earlier on in the Jurassic Park original. The raptors are introduced, but they're not seen. And you're like, look at this thing that you can't see. All you know is that it's dangerous and it can take apart a cow within seconds and also basically tear apart a crane structure thing that they load the cow on. They're super intelligent. They tell them about the raptors. They build up the hype about these raptors. And then when the raptors get out of their cage, you see the wires cut. You don't see the raptors. You just see if their wires are cut. You're like, holy crap. Even Nedry knew not to mess with the raptor fences. And everyone's like, oh crap. Those things that we heard, that we didn't see, that we know were super dangerous and lethal at 8 weeks are running loose. We didn't really get that build up to the Indoraptor. All it did was kind of scare the little girl a little bit, like, oh, I'm gonna touch you with my claw. Like, Jurassic Park, the raptor didn't try to touch Ellie Sattler with its claw and freak her out. It wasn't curious. It was like, no, bitch, come here, I'm gonna kill you. Let me shove my head through this fence to get at you because I want to tear you to shreds. I didn't feel that from Ripper. Yeah, maybe he was really intelligent or whatever, and he felt this thing with Maisie or whatnot. Please, give me a break. It takes away from the entire fear factor for this hybrid. Now that we're not getting hybrids, we need some of that fear back. The other point is that they need to utilize their environment. Jurassic Park was kind of inny and outy with the environment. Some took place inside the facilities, some took place in the natural environment. And it made sense for them to do that because what's more scary is having a monster that's supposed to be outside that you're scared of inside in some place where you're supposed to feel safe. In The Lost World, they did the same thing. They did the outside, they did the inside, they did the inner cities, so it's an artificial environment versus natural environment. In Jurassic Park 3, it was totally natural and everything was outside. In Jurassic World, it was a facility that utilized the environment, so it was strictly outside, but it was within the confines of the facility. Fallen Kingdom was totally inside the manor, and now that the dinosaurs are roaming free, we're hoping that everything's now going to be either a mixture of inside and outside, or we're going to see the outside environment. We saw the dinosaurs on the mainland in cities, but we didn't really see them in rural areas or in forests or in our natural environment. I've said this before in other videos, please let us see some interactions between the dinosaurs and other creatures, not just Rexy roaring at a lion or the T-Rex roaring at a dog and then we don't see the dog get eaten. I'm not saying that we should see the dog get eaten, holy crap. I mean, even if they did that, I would respect it, but it is really hard for me to watch a dog or cat get eaten on screen. Like, you can tear up a goat anytime you want, or a cow or something. I'd be like, oh, poor cow, or maybe I won't, but if a dog, I can't. I'll watch people get torn up all the time. I can't watch dogs. Seeing velociraptors chase down some elk, or seeing a pack of wolves go up against one velociraptor, and having their asses handed to them, oh my god. The last point is no more cliffhangers. As the author put it, at this point the franchise has nowhere to go. Everything that needed to be said has been said, and it's going to be rather difficult to top dinosaurs running amok in our backyards. The last 5 films have pulled out all the stops to give us a memorable ride, but it's time for that ride to end. He goes on to saying that sequelitis is real and it can have a detrimental impact on the legacy of a good franchise. Let's wrap up the story for all time, then encase this property in amber so we can remember it fondly as something that didn't continue to deteriorate into redundancy. As we've mentioned in previous videos, it is a wonderful run that Jurassic Park has had, but aside from retelling the story from different perspectives, there's really nowhere else for it to go, unless it's going to get a tad bit ridiculous like the Asylum movies that we make fun of on this channel. The only thing left for us to do is let the Jurassic Park franchise be laid to rest and retire, and then if they want, they can uncover some other beautiful potential from another dinosaur-oriented movie or franchise. Maybe like a documentary, as I've said before many times before, with the dinosaur's own POV. How cool would it to see a documentary of a velociraptor, but hearing the voice of a person narrating her endeavors, or maybe the voice of the velociraptor as it would be interpreted in human language. Or just a David Attenborough type situation where we just follow along, just like the Blue Planet, just have these different succeeding sagas of different dinosaurs or different individual dinosaurs. I would love to see something like that. Something like Walking with Dinosaurs or Dinotopia with the graphics that we know and love from Jurassic Park. Trust me, people would take their kids to see that, but adults would actually enjoy it because you'd actually see dinosaurs eating each other. I don't know what it is. Seeing dinosaurs rip their ribs apart in documentaries are totally okay for kids, but seeing them eat people, you know, is not. Okay, but anyways, this video is long enough. What do you guys think about these points? Do you agree with them? Do you disagree with them? And why? Do you think this franchise should be laid to rest? They should do it into something else, not movie-oriented. I think there's a lot of dinosaurs. There's a lot of ground to cover in terms of the types of dinosaurs that are out there, not that roam the world, because, you know, dinosaurs are dead. But would you be open to having something like that? Let us know in the comments below, and thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.